Hello everyone, Monty here, and today I'm going to talk about calories and counting calories specifically. And it's coming from the magazine, The Complete Guide to Nutrition, that I bought at my local Publix. Google it, you can buy it online. I don't know how many they have left online. Last time I did a chat from a magazine like this, right after I did the chat, they sold out, so there probably weren't that many online. I don't think that many people bought them from my chat. But for those of you who don't know some of my history, I've been counting calories basically for like 24, 25 years. I started on Weight Watchers at that time, and the original Weight Watcher program, 1 point equaled 50 calories, so I was really counting calories. I stopped Weight Watchers over 2.5 years ago because when they did the 0-point foods and you weren't really counting calories anymore, I overdid it, I gained weight, I got very disenfranchised. Plus, I had I had 120,000 followers on the Weight Watchers site. I was starting to get a lot of negative feedback, a lot of negative haters. There was a culture of that there. So mainly I left because of gaining the weight, but other things probably made my departure a lot quicker, getting all the haters once I got up to 120,000 followers. But one thing I learned from all the years I did Weight Watchers, every time I stopped tracking my points, which really was calories, I gained the weight back, 30 to 50 pounds. I went up and down like 4 times with 30 to 50 pounds. And I've struggled with my weight ever since I was a teenager. I was about not even 5 foot tall at 13 years old. I weighed 225 pounds. I was teased by the kids at school. I talked about these stories all the time. My mother had to buy me clothes at the Husky department. I mean, all these things are coming back to me. But anyway, again, the only thing that's really worked for me is counting calories. So in this article, by the way, I use Lose It, L-O-S-E-I-T apostrophe. It's an iPhone and Android app to count calories. The basic one is free. If you want the macro calculators and some of the other fancy stuff, then I forgot what it is. You can buy a lifetime membership, I think, for like $85, but I paid yearly. I didn't buy the lifetime. So in the magazine, it says, what's in a calorie? A calorie is really just energy. It's a way of measuring the amount of energy contained in the food in the form of carbohydrates, protein, or fat, or how much energy you're expending with exercise. Foods contain different amounts of calories, which scientists determined through testing. A food with hundreds of calories will supply more energy than a food with fewer calories, although if you don't need those calories for fuel for your activities, they will be stored as fat. When you've accumulated an extra 3,500 calories, you've added a pound. Likewise, it takes 3,500 calories of exercise or activity to burn off a pound of stored fat. To learn more about calories and factor into weight loss, turn to page 26. And we're going to turn to that, but what I want to talk about is, it's really a mathematical formula. If you need a certain amount of calories for your daily activities, not even working out, let's say, right? Just walking around, living, breathing, everything. If you eat above those calories, whatever that calorie number is, you're going to gain weight. If you eat below, you're going to lose weight. If you eat around that calorie, you'll maintain your weight. Now, how do you figure out what you need? Well, a calorie counter will ask you a lot of questions like Lose It or MyFitnessPal. When you open it up, it'll first ask you some questions. It'll ask you your height, your weight, your sex, your activity level, your goals. All these things, fall into play. And for weight loss, it'll tell you, if you say you want to lose weight, it'll tell you what calories you need to be at or under to lose weight. If it's maintenance, you'll answer that too. So one of the things I want to say is I was never really a Jillian Michael fan, but I never really didn't like her. I thought she was good, but it was not like, wow, she's amazing. But then I saw one of her videos on calories and talking about its scientific method, everything I found out and I believe in. So now I'm a big Jillian Michaels fan. So she's on Instagram. Go to her page. It was a long time ago, but maybe she has another chat recently that I saw of hers. It was probably 5 months ago where she talked about calories and counting calories and all that stuff. And so here you go, an expert who's had success with many people. She believes it. She just explained it so well, better than I ever could. So let's get back to this. Diets that deprive you of no, that's not it. I'm sorry. So what they're saying here in this, we're starting at the wrong place, I'm sorry. The article says, to take it off, start counting. The simplest way to think about weight loss and where most diets and eating plans begin, whether explicit or not, is with calories. Without considering other factors, you need to take in fewer calories than you burn, scientific method. Take in less than you burn, and you're gonna lose weight. without considering other factors, and you take in fewer calories than you burn, so you create a deficit. People always talk about calorie deficits. Since slow and steady wins the race, you should aim to drop 1 to 2 pounds a week. So let's talk about that. One of the things I notice when I coach people, and I get so frustrated, is they go, "Oh, you lost 5 pounds this week." I'm like, 5 pounds? That's amazing. You should only lose 1 pound to 2 pounds a week, whether it was Weight Watchers or nutritionists or any kind of doctor who knows about weight loss. If you Google what is the safe amount of weight to lose a week, they will say 1 to 2 pounds. I always break it down further for people. I would say 1 and 1.5 pounds for women because they lose weight slower, and 1 to 2 pounds for men, 1.5 to 2 pounds for men, right? Because they seem to lose weight a lot quicker. And they always say what comes off slowly stays off, what comes off slowly comes back on fast. So that means reducing your daily intake by 500 to 750 calories and increasing your physical activity by at least 250 calories. If you're shedding weight at that rate, you can be pretty confident you're losing body fat versus water or muscle mass, says Leslie Bonchi, RD, a nutrition consultant for the Kansas City Chiefs and the Pittsburgh Ballet Theater. So one of the things that I have learned is that you know, a couple of things. I believe that diet and exercise is the perfect combination, and that diet, I will tell you from my experience, because when I started eating clean, diet is 75% of it, exercise is 25%. There was a year that I was working out 6 days a week, and I kept gaining weight and gaining weight and gaining weight and gaining weight, working out 6 days a week, 2 hours a day, and I couldn't understand it. I found out it was the sugar, and that's when I got off sugar like 4 or 5 years ago. And that's when I heard this doctor say, fat doesn't make you fat, sugar makes you fat. And I got off almost all refined sugar. I eat very few grams of sugar a day. I maybe allow myself 3 products that have like 1 or 2 grams per serving. I eat under less than 10 grams of refined sugar. And I'm also trying to limit my refined sugar. If it's whole fruit, natural sugar, I try to limit my natural sugar as well. If it's whole fruit with the fiber, I let myself eat it, but I try not to eat any of the fruit juice anymore, like the kombuchas I was eating until I get back to my goal weight, because I know that turns to sugar and turns to fat in your system very quickly. So she goes on to talk about the higher you, there's something you want to try to avoid, losing the muscle mass, because the more muscle you have, the higher your metabolic rate. I talked about this the other day. So if you have 2 people, same height, same weight, but one has a higher muscle mass, they are going to burn more calories just doing their daily activities than the other person of exactly the same height and weight, because they have more muscle mass, increases your metabolism and requires more calories. Also very interesting is that people always say fat weighs more than muscle, right? No, it really doesn't. It's that muscle is more dense than fat. Think about 5 pounds of steel and 5 pounds of feathers. 5 pounds of feathers is going to take up more weight. So you could actually be gaining weight but losing inches and getting healthier, leaner muscle mass and requiring more calories, and you're freaking out when you weigh yourself because you're working out like a banshee. And why am I gaining weight? Because it's muscle. Oh, sometimes you have to go not by the scale, but by your waistline and measurements and how you fit in your clothes. So anyway. So then the article continues, I'm not going to read the rest of the article, but the article continues to talk about get your macros. I did a chat on macros the other day. If you didn't see that chat, go back, macronutrients, and watch that. And I talked about macro calculators. You can go online and Google macro calculator and find out. It'll ask you questions, how many macros you need according to, again, always according to, remember, everybody's different. So according to your age, your height, your weight, your sex, your goals. The macro calculators, just like the calorie counters, will ask you these questions, and then you'll know how many macros if you want to track your macros, and you can try that. I never really had success tracking macros, but I didn't do it long term. I'm trying to go back to where I was at 8% body fat, so I'm trying to go back to eating and exercising the way I used to. I'm not there yet, but I'm trying my best to get there in the next couple months. And it's very interesting. I know people say you look great, you look fantastic. I have very high expectations for myself. I want that wow factor. For like 3 years, I would get out of the shower every morning, see myself in the mirror naked and go, oh my God, I can't believe this is my body. And I want to get back to that. So I was saying something the other day and I did a post, and it kind of really bothered me that somebody said to me, I said, hey, look, I may not be where I want to be. I may not be 8% body fat, but I know I'm going to get there. And she's like, oh, you need to talk nice to yourself. And it kind of really bothered me because I do speak nicely to myself. I think there's nothing wrong to say, hey, I look good and I know I look good, but I want to look amazing. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having that goal. So then the article goes on to talk about timing it right, intermittent fasting. You know, I keep stopping intermittent fasting. I stop for a while, I'm back doing it again. I think my body likes the intermittent fasting, but when I was my lowest weight, I was at 8% body fat. I didn't do intermittent fasting. So I think because I have stomach issues, my stomach feels better when I do intermittent fasting, but I'm still eating till like 9 or 10 o'clock. I've got to dial it back another hour or two. I did get up once 15 pounds, and once I started intermittent fasting, I took the weight off right away. But again, and I got back down to my 8%, but again, for the majority of the time I was at my 8%, I didn't do intermittent fasting. So I like to use Tony Robbins' advice. He always says, people are always focusing on what they're doing wrong rather than looking back on what they did right when they were successful, and I'm trying to employ that. What was I doing when I was 8% body fat that was so successful with my diet and my exercise? And I'm going to try that again, right? Then rather than trying something else. I know that was successful, so I want to go back to that. And I'm not totally back to that yet, but I'm trying to get there. And then it says fill up on fiber. So that's another interesting thing, because I'm like ravenous at night, and I'm going to try and fill up at fiber right before the 8 o'clock. And I bought all these organic carrots. I bought like 6 bags of organic carrots. I'm going to start tonight. Although I'm going to go a little bit off my diet. Mom's coming over and she wants pizza, so I'm going to make pizza from scratch and teach her how to make it. She wants to learn how to make it, although I tried to teach one of my neighbors, no names, Debbie! And it was an epic fail for her. So hopefully my mom will pay more attention than Debbie did. Debbie. She's going to be all mad at me now. Actually, I was teaching Debbie's daughter, and Debbie was like kidding around in the background, and she didn't really pay attention. So what fiber does is it helps you feel full. And you know, some foods like carrots and celery. Celery is considered 0-point food. But I don't like celery to get stuck in my teeth, and I just don't want to deal with it. But carrots are not 0-point foods, but they're almost that way, where it's like you almost take as much energy, expend as much calories digesting it as you do in the food. But it's very low in calories. Very good for you. A lot of beta carotene. So I'm going to start. So it says fill up on fiber. I want to try that myself. I did that a lot when I was 8% body fat. I ate so much fruit. I ate like 10 pieces of fruit a day, and I have a whole big, huge bowl of fruit right now. I went to 2 different supermarkets, so I'm going to try to get back to that, eating a lot of fruit, a lot of that fiber. It keeps you full, and you're getting a lot of nutrients from all that fruit, the whole fruit. And some people say, oh, but it's a lot of sugar. Again, you gotta know what works for you. I know that for me, I can eat 1, maybe 2 bananas a day and 3 or 4 other pieces of fruit, and I'll be fine. Some people can't eat that much fruit, right? And when I was 8% body fat, sometimes I'd eat 8 or 9 pieces of fruit and 1 banana, and I was ripped. So again, everybody's different. I know people who can't eat 1 or 2 bananas, they gain weight. So that's what's great about counting calories, because when you put your food in the tracker, you're not just counting calories, you're putting your food in, and you start seeing eating patterns, and Even Lose It will tell you, hey, we found an eating pattern that when you eat this food, you tend to eat less calories. And these are things you want to find out. How does your body react to food? Because everybody's different. Like, I know people who eat 4 bananas a day and they're very thin, right? But most people have a problem with that. With bananas, cherries, I can't eat cherries because I can't control myself. I'll eat the whole damn bag. So you hardly ever see me eat cherries anymore because I just can't control myself. The same thing with dates. I was into dates for the last couple of months, and I went at night, I was eating like 1,000 calories at dates. And again, even if it's clean calories, that's why I'm up like 12 or 13 pounds now, maybe even 15. It's bad, right? I know I look good, but not where I want to be. So anyway, so that is the chat on the calories. Again, you may want to go back to Jillian Michaels and go look at her video. And again, it's a mathematical formula. If you figure out what your calories you need through the calorie counters, you eat above those calories, you're going to gain weight. Eat below, you're going to lose weight. It's a mathematical, scientific, proven thing. I've proved it so many times. Every time I stopped tracking calories over 25 years, I gained all the weight back. I just need that regimen. And I talked about one of my other chats that I just made a commitment for the rest of my life that I would count calories. And even if I go over, it's still controlling me. I'd probably be up 30, 40 pounds with Corona and all this other work stress I have if I wasn't counting. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this chat, and I'll be talking to you tomorrow.